Welcome back, everyone. Where we last left off, we had just entered Mount Moon, and now we are picking up our journey to cross to the other side of Route 10. Now, Mount Moon is a bit of an interesting location here. So Mount Moon is very similar to Rock Tunnel. We are in Rock Tunnel, and it is very similar to Mount Moon in that, one, their names can be confused by someone streaming the game, despite how many times they've played through it. But two, it's another cave tunnel setup. I think this is the first time we've actually faced a Cubone in this game. The Cubone sprite is pretty good. I think the texture on the skull bone is really interesting. I never really noticed that before. As many of you know, that is supposed to be the skull of Cubone's mother that it wears on its head, which is an interesting part of lore that we will start getting into in the next round, or the next leg of our journey, so to say. This Slowpoke still looks like a teddy bear to me. That is a great sprite. Okay, I think that's the first time we faced a Pokemaniac as well. I do enjoy how the computer, or the game, I guess, rewards you for going to get Flash in order to get through Rock Tunnel. I think it does a whole lot of good to really convince you to explore the rest of the game. It's not mandatory, but it does make the game a lot easier. Okay, now I think this is the southeast corner we're in. I'm going to be running from a fair number. These guys probably should have gotten some repels. But I also want to make sure that we are not missing any items on the ground as we make our way through. Yeah, with Mac out front, I'm not going to be switching into Geodude. Or switching in someone to face Geodude. Alright, and this should be another Pokemaniac, I believe. Yep. And it's another Slowpoke. Excellent. I've never learned what the Pokemaniac, I guess what their idea is supposed to be, or their ethos as a trainer. They always have some interesting trainers. Oh, come on, Mac. There we go. They always have interesting or rarer Pokemon, but I don't know, other than that, if there's really a thought behind their trainer identity. I think there's an item back here. Oof, no. Alright, and this junior trader, I believe, has all grass type Pokemon. So, I think Thunderbolt is still going to be our strongest attack. Oof, that's not actually great. Ah, and the Poison Powder. That's probably even worse. Well, the nice thing is we do have Dig on one of our guys, so we should be able to fight it off. Let's switch into Meowie. I actually forgot that Mac was so leveled up right here. So hopefully Meowie can tank a hit there, and then hit a Body Slam. Ah, there we go. Meowth is really... I know I keep saying this, but Meowth is impressing me more than I thought it would. My Meowth is not, considering he's scratching at something right now. I think it's something under the bed. So I've been doing these recordings in my office, not my actual office, but in the home office, which is also serves as our other bedroom right now. And I like to have the cat in here. Figure if I have someone on my team named after him, I should use it. Yeah, we don't have an antidote, so... Let's wait until Mac faints, and then maybe I'll head out, heal up. I didn't realize this, but Water Gun's actually a decent coverage move for Meowie. Not just in this tunnel, but I think in general, too. You know, a lot of the rock and ground types are not going to have... are going to have pretty good defenses and will be strong against normal type. So Water Gun is pretty decent. I don't know, yeah, I don't know if that was going to be enough, but Rage is the worst move in Generation 1. So, don't quote me on this, but something about how it doesn't really, I don't think it buffs the right way, or there's some issue with it. And that was fixed in Generation 2, though, to where it's actually a really good move when you end up getting it on your Totodile to start the game. Okay, let's try Water Gun here. Okay, well, I'll take that. And let's just do a Water Gun. I was going to do a Payday, but let's not get cute. That could maybe be the theme of this episode, or theme of the past couple runs, is don't get cute. Alright. Let's face this guy, and then go back around the other way. I am gonna fight this Machop. One, because we're gonna go heal, and two, because fighting type really doesn't have any good moves, so even if he didn't survive that, there are no moves I'm really scared of him taking Meowie out with. Fighting was not a good type in this generation. They really, they didn't start nailing it until, I mean, some people say Generation 5. I don't think that's true. I think Generation 2 it's still a little rough. Machamp is a great Pokemon, but not because it really has great fighting moves. Same thing with Heracross. I've run Heracross so many times, aka once in Gen 2. Oof. Ooh, I didn't realize we have pretty much normal type moves on Mama. Oh man. Alright, let's hope Mama's high defense can tank this. Okay. Way to go, Mama. But yeah, you really, reversal submission, you don't have great options in that generation. At Gen 3, it starts getting a little better. Yeah, you end up... Makuhita and Hariyama have pretty good fighting coverage. I think Brick Break helps a lot, which I know is not introduced in Gen 3, but I think that you have some options. Gen 4, though, Gen 4 has a lot of good fighting types. I mean, you have two staples in Infernape and Lucario. Gen 5 is where people say that fighting type really turns around, but I think it starts much earlier. I didn't realize that Mama... I mean, I guess I did, but Mama really only has strong normal type moves. Normal is probably... This is probably the strongest generation for normal type, actually. You know, I'm gonna put Meowie out. Onix... I don't think Onix can tank the 4-time special hit here. And I don't think it can do anything to us, even if it can. There we go. I love being right. Okay. So now we are back on the top floor, and we are in the northwest corner. I believe this hiker that we're about to face has pretty much all water type resist or weak Pokemon. So let's switch in. Let's switch Meowie up front. Yeah, there we go. It'll be good to just get some more experience on guys. Really spread out our team. I like having 4 members right now. I think that it's allowed us to really make sure our team stays evenly leveled. At least evenly leveled within each other and also against the competition. Yeah, Karate Chop doesn't do anything. These moves... Fighting type really is not good in this generation. Alright, and let's keep Meowie going in. So one way I've been going about this series is, again, you know, I'm really making these for my own posterity as opposed to ensuring anyone will watch them. I hope someone enjoys them, but I'm not making it with the intent of anyone really watching it. I mostly just post them on YouTube because that way I don't have to pay to store them eventually. And it'll be easier for me to go back and rewatch them one day. But anyway, I was thinking about different ways to handle a lot of these games. You know, I initially started off, I think I mentioned this, I wanted to replay with the Experience Share podcast. And you know, that sounds like a great idea, and it's something I want to continue to do. But I think I wanted something a little bit more out of a playthrough. Oh, that's not what I meant to click. Oof. Okay, well, thank you Gen 1 AI and Gen 1 Coding for that little gift. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to play around with the podcast. I considered starting my own replay podcast. And I don't know, it just... To be honest, I don't have anyone that I think I would play with to do a whole playthrough podcast, and I wouldn't do it on myself. No one wants to listen to just me ramble while I play through a game, or while I recount a playthrough, or probably while I just play through it. I doubt that anyone will ever watch any of these. In any event, I just decided that, you know, it'd be something new for me. But the reason I started going on about all this is that I decided at first I would replay with the podcast and play the games that they played, which were every mainline game, and then also a few select spin-off games. So by mainline games, that means every generation, or at least to me, it means every generation. Let's see, yeah, nothing new up there. And I think they're next person. Let's switch here. So anyway, so that is... Oh, you know what? No, we're gonna... Thank you, Mac. But I think we're gonna switch back to Meowie for one more battle against a hiker coming up, it looks like. So anyway, as I was saying, I wanted to play along, and they play every mainline game, so every generation that releases, and then the remakes. And then they also would play spin-off titles. And so that might be Pokemon Snap, or Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Coliseum, random spin-offs. I mostly played through a lot of those, especially in the early seasons. Oof, this is a rough sprite for Grappler. Oh, man. Okay, good. I saw defense and I thought it was destruct for a second. But yeah, so I decided I wanted to play along. But then I decided that, well, I think instead of just playing along, I maybe want to play more Pokemon games than just the ones that they played. So to me, that was taking a peek at a lot of the spin-off games that even I haven't ever played before. Just double checking where we are on the map. Okay, this is what I thought. If we go up north, there might be an item or it might be a dead end. You can probably see how this is so difficult to make it through if you don't know where you're going or if you don't have Flash. What? Meowie is evolving? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna keep Meowie as a Meowth for just a little bit longer. As I said, I have a soft spot for Meowth because I have my own Meowth who keeps turning his head every time I say that. I think I'm just gonna keep him as a Meowth for right now. Continue to play through it. I was going back and forth on it, and I decided, why not? Why not just see what else I can get out of my Meowth? So anyway, to get back to the story, I decided maybe I'll replay every Pokemon game I can get my hands on and document it along the way. So part of that, I've decided to do that, I think. To be determined. But I thought we were one spot over. Oh, couldn't hurt to knock another Geodude off. So anyway, I decided that I think I'm going to do that and go through the Bulbapedia list of Pokemon games. Oh, sorry, Mac. You know what? This is actually probably a good time to go and heal up. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I will be back here in just a quick second. Okay, and we are back. Had quite the eventful pause to go heal. I first knocked over my tea as I was moving back to the Pokemon Center, so I had to go and clean that up. And then you might have noticed that Mama is now out because all the Zubats in the tunnel really lived up to their name because we fought so many on the way back that it was pretty much time for a level up for Mac. So Mac leveled up, and now Mama was put out in front. So to get back to what I think I was talking about, so yeah, I think I want to also play through a lot of the side games while while going through the older games too, because a lot of them I haven't played or haven't played in a long time. So I think it would be fun. I'm still working with what exactly the format would be for some of those. You know, I think a game like a mainline game is pretty good for me to do a playthrough like this, because even though I'm not good at it, I at least know the game, so it's not a lot of me sitting around wondering where to go next, and which, not that I think this is the best content in the world, but at least it's not me sitting around trying to figure out which way is up and down. But I think that if we ended up doing a game that I hadn't played through before, I just have to work on it a little bit. I'd have to really start to consider how to play the game, what research I want to do ahead of time, or how I want it to all be. Alright, so we have this hiker coming up, so I think I want to switch in someone who knows a water move, or a water type. Alright, let's hope that Meowie can just tank this Zubat, or tank a hit. There we go. Alright. I forgot how many trainers are in Rocket Tunnel. There really are a good number here. Okay. So that was a nice prediction. It's helpful that they're weak to water like this. That does a lot of good. Where what does a lot of good is that we have someone who can do something about water. Two guys. Okay, great. And then a Graveler. Remember we had trouble with Graveler last time, so let's hope that it was just a low roll. Or we get that. I guess technically it was a lower roll than our current hit there. Oh, that was great. Out-muscled indeed. I don't think there's anything down this way, but let's check just to be sure. Rock Tunnel is set up in an interesting way, so there are 3 main sections up top and 2 main sections at the bottom. So we're just about to wrap up the second section on the bottom here. And we're going to want to switch in. This next Pokemaniac up here has 3 Slowpokes. So even though Mama could use some levels, let's get Mac in here. We do want to be training Mac. Well, yeah, we want Mac to be training, but we really want Mama to be training. I think Mama's going to come in a lot of health in our next upcoming gym fight. Not because Mama's going to be able to do much, but it's going to be able to take neutral damage, which is good, and hopefully it can just steamroll a lot of the Pokemon, because I am not very optimistic about what Mac can do and what Squirt is going to be able to do, given that it's a grass-type gym. Alright. So now let's switch these guys back up. And yeah, so this is going to be the final leg of Rock Tunnel that we're coming up against. So up here we're in the... So this is the, like, lower, like the southeast portion of Rock Tunnel. Okay, good. And it zigzags a little bit until you get to the exit. We only have 2 more trainers in here, so... Okay, great. And Mega Punch it home. Wonderful. Even better. It was too dark. I highly doubt that. One thing I forgot to mention, though, is... So you do want to, or have to, use Flash again every time you come back into a cave in this game. So I didn't want to unpause for that, but it reminded me that that is something you got to start doing, or keep in mind. Is that, you know, you don't want to box your guy after you use Flash and it's all gone. It will reset, so you want to use that again. Yeah, let's Body Slam. We don't have many battles left. I think we should... Yeah, let's switch to Mac. I mean, we probably should have had Mac out for the Pidgey, but it's not always perfect. Great. I remember in the beginning of the game when the Rattatas used to give us more trouble, and we thought they were good for. This is around the part where a Rattata really starts to fall off. We are going to switch out, though. Horrible, horrible Sprout. I think Bellsprout wins worst front and back sprite so far in this generation. It looks like something out of Beetlejuice in the front sprite, and the back sprite is so large. And it's bulbous. I don't like it at all. I think that I don't know what they were doing, actually. I'm not even going to speculate. I don't think there's anything up here. Yet there really are no items in the cave, in Rock Tunnel. Which was surprising to me. I thought that there would be more, or that there were more. Okay. Ugh. Well, no Meowth on Meowth violence, but this is still gonna be tough. It's always tough to hurt a good little Meowth. It's currently quite overcast and rainy here, and my Meowth is just laying right behind me. Sort of falling asleep, sort of not. I don't know what he's up to. Oh wow, that was not what I expected. Alright, and then we can switch back here. Let's put Mac back in. One thing I've been doing on the side is, I plan out generally the, each episode and how long I want it to go. And I think and one thing that I've been doing too is planning out how many, looking at which Pokemon I have and keeping track of all of it. That's, to me, some of the most fun that you have in some playthroughs, is just keeping track of your team and where they were, what they did. I love how she says, "I'm feeling faint from this hike," and then immediately challenges you to a battle. Actually, 4 trainers up here that you face on... Okay, are you serious? It didn't take down a Pidgey? That's a little nuts. I just had to use the Body Slam just to give it a taste of medicine. Okay. Now let's hope a Mega Punch will land. Not that they're going to be able to do much against Mama, who really is just a tank in this generation. Is it me, or does it feel like this is... That was just ridiculous. 3 misses in a row. I don't even want to know what the odds are on that. Okay, the next few trainers do have water weak Pokemon, so let's take them on with Meowie in the front. I'm thinking I'm gonna start limiting these episodes to maybe about more like 30-minute to 45-minute mark. I don't know why. Maybe to just break up my schedule with it a little bit more. Okay. And also just to make them more bite-sized chunks. It's tough to figure that out. I do have a lot of the game broken down into chunks already. But I don't, you know, some of them can be really short, some of them can be really long. So it's tough to guess how long each one will take. I still think Meowie is going to stay the same. I think we're going to keep him where he is for right now. Not in the party, but as a Meow. Anytime you find a weird rock like that in any Nintendo game, you gotta... If your Spidey senses aren't going off, they should. And luckily this Pokemaniac leads with a Cubone. It's not quite the Onyx Geodude Rock Ground type. This will be great for Mac to get some hits in against. Pretty happy with our leveling, though. I think we're doing pretty well before the next gym. And then let's hit this guy right down here, too. Alright, this should be pretty easy for Squirt. Graveler also, he looks like a Looney Tunes character, or something not right. It does remind me a little bit, though, of how Graveler looks in Legends Arceus. I thought that in that game that they had, Graveler had a bit more of a comedic look to it. I had to let the music play out for this one. One of the most iconic songs of this generation. Arguably the most. Alright, let's switch the team order a little bit. So, there are a lot of stories about the music in Lavender Town. I don't think any of them are true, that, you know, kids would get hypnotized by it, or, you know, anything strange, but I don't think that those are, like I said, I think that they were unsubstantiated. Not like the Porygon stories. For anyone who doesn't know, Porygon has a checkered past with Pokemon. Apparently, well, not apparently, there was an episode of the anime where when essentially Porygon was the main star of the episode, and Porygon ended up hitting Pikachu and Ash and Misty and Brock with I think it was Zap Cannon or maybe Signal Beam, some sort of hit, and it blows up in a digital environment and caused a red and blue strobe effect to appear. So here's Mr. Fuji's house. Again, Spidey senses aren't going off. And where is Mr. Fuji, who we've never met? They should be. We're not going to be solving it right now. But anyway, so yeah, Porygon, when that strobe effect went off, sent many children to the hospital in Japan. It led to a ban, essentially, internally from Nintendo and Game Freak from putting Porygon out into media for a long time. An informal ban, I believe. Never released publicly. This is the name Raider. He'll change names of Pokemon. I like all our names, so we'll keep them. And the last thing in Lavender Town is up in the northeast here, in the Pokemon Tower. And we won't be going into the Pokemon Tower just yet, because there's more to do there later on. So I think we're going to call it for an episode. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and make sure to like, subscribe, and turn back in for our next episode.